Rupaul watching Bosco open the gold bar, take 1. Oh my god! Hi, Ugly. It's me, Bussy, and welcome back to Hat or Rat. And today we'll be reviewing episode 5,332 of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14. Our queens were challenged to sing and dance in the new Rusical, Moulin Ru. And the runway category was Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. Actually, that wasn't the category. The runway category was Mirror, Mirror. And today we'll be ranking our queens from raddest rat to hottest hots, based on how I thought they did in the episode, with 5 possible flames for the challenge and 5 for the runway. And we've got so many juicy details to break down today. But first, a moment of silence for that clown Rusical that they put the Canada's Drag Race Season 2 girls through. Now it's time for the big reveal. First up, I just knew she was into pups. It's DeJa Skye. In the challenge, I thought the judges got her critique spot on. DeJa was there and doing a solid job, but she really didn't turn all the way on until she got her little rap solo, and I loved that part. And there have been several moments throughout this season so far where DeJa just really turns on. This was one of them. Unfortunately, it just wasn't for the entire challenge, but I think what she did here was very solid, so I'm gonna give her a very safe 3 flame score in the Rusical. And on the runway, you know what I really like about this look? Look over there! So I wasn't totally sure what was going on here, and honestly, I'm not sure she knew what was going on there either. In her confessional, she says, that's not what she says. That's what I said. She says, I have a holographic cage kind of thing going on. And I was like, yes, you do have a holographic cage kind of thing going on, mama. Serve. Again, the question is why? I don't know. It really didn't fit the theme mirror, mirror, but I did like the crown piece, and that I guess she was actually carrying a mirror. I was actually looking tonight at how beautiful her mug is. I think she's one of the best painters in this cast, and I just really want her to take that attention to detail that she puts in her makeup and apply it to the runways. And I know she's already there with all of her looks, so maybe it's a little too late this time, but looking forward, something she could think about. This look is a rat. And honestly, Nerve was the perfect character for her in the Rusical because it do take nerve. It really, really do. Next up, Hellotus. 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 In the Rusical, her role was talent. And I've got to say, throughout the entire Rusical, she did a great job dancing. The only issue that she had, I think, throughout the Rusical, and often while she performs, is sometimes it seems like she just kind of turns her face off while her body is going and contorting and doing these crazy dance moves. She needs a little more emotion going on while she was actually performing in the Rusical, and I think that's what the judges were missing there. Because the critique that she actually got from the judges was that they didn't get talent from her character, which was supposed to give talent, I guess. I feel like that wasn't really her fault and could have actually been translated maybe a little bit better in the choreo, like with a cartwheel or a couple splits. Like, God knows she could have pulled that off. But as the judges were saying, they were truly splitting hairs in this Rusical because I thought everyone did so well. Jorgeous also gets a hot. And on the runway, she's giving spooky, scary, reflective. It's an interesting, different look from her. I didn't love it, but I love that she tried something new. With some revisions, this maybe could have been taken to the next level. The actual skeleton cage dress thing, I think, was a really cool piece, but something about that boot line hitting the dress line just really bothered me. Had that dress been draped over some latex tights going all the way from the boot, like past that dress line, I think it really, really could have been a sexy mamacita look. But it was heavy metal and reflective, so I'm gonna leave this look at a warming. Next up, it's Bosco. Bosco. Okay. Miss Bosco and Camden found themselves a little bit of a kerfuffle this week as they were fighting over the lead role of Saltine. Bosco didn't back down, and kind of unfortunate because she maybe should have. It's not that she did bad. I just wanted her moves to be a little bit bigger, more theatrical and in character. Because it kind of felt like Michelle said, honestly, the judges were on it tonight. She really just was Bosco in this role, and she nailed the choreo and the lip syncing, and nothing about it was wrong. It just wasn't at that next higher elevated level where some of the girls took it tonight. But kudos to her for what she did do. I think her strongest section was the little duet she did with Leeland. I'm gonna leave this at a 3 flame safe hot. And over on the runway, she says she's giving us a little Mugler Tin Man slam piece. We have seen this look in 10 different flavors from Bosco on the runway pretty much every single week, and we all know that. She knows that. It is what it is. But for doing this exact same thing every single week, this is definitely the best iteration of what she's been doing. And I definitely want to compliment the like thematic thing that she has going on with this look that she brings into many of her others, which is the spikes, which, you know, we also see in her eyebrows. I think had we not already seen this look in 50 different shades of black prior, we might have been a little more excited for it, but for what it was, I thought it hit the theme well, and she looked great in it. I loved also the detail of her oiling up her body to give her skin that metallic look, which just perfectly finished it off. This look was hot. Next up, I do believe in fairies. I do believe in fairies, especially little green wood nymph fairies. It's Willow. In the challenge, I was gooped and gagged that no one else was fighting for this role. It clearly was the best of them, I thought. Like, girl, you get to skip the entire opening part of the Rusical, first of all, and then you get to come in midway through when everyone's tired as hell, and you've got this fresh burst of energy, and then you can just dance the house down boots in a solo and blow everyone away. Plus, it's a role that taps into Willow's, I think, smart but stupid humor that she really puts into a lot of what she does. And I know I spend a lot of time blowing smoke up her ass, but bitch, I love Willow, and I think she did so phenomenal this week, and every week she just proves she is so versatile. She can do so many different things, and girl, we're looking for the top 4. I think she's gonna be in it. This performance was hot. But over on the runway, the reviews are in, and this one kind of fell flat for me. I didn't understand where she was going with the mirror concept, because if you are gonna, I think, pick silver and just kind of say, oh, it's reflective, then it needs to be as reflective as the chrome pieces that Bosco wore. And the outfit was cute, don't get me wrong, but I also feel that it was missing a little bit of polish. A little bit of polish. Because usually we see these really artsy, fun, and weird looks from her that could go into that artsy, craftsy zone, but she has a really great eye for detail that elevates them every single time. Like, you know, her mushroom look that she did last week, or was it the week before? I don't know, I'm losing track. And this one just wasn't the explosive grand finale that I hoped it would be. It's gonna be a rat. Next up, it's lady time. Lady Camden. So while I was watching the episode, I didn't really think too deep into the fight between Camden and Bosco, but here we are, and I'm reflecting, mirror, mirror, thinking about what may or may not have happened, and if what we saw really was the truth. And what I'm getting at is that it just didn't really make a lot of sense to me that Camden would want that Saltine role. Because was it a leading role? Yes. But the role that she actually got, Mama Z, was, I think, just as much of a leading role and also way more up her alley. I just feel like that role was A, written for her, and B, that she probably wanted it from the jump. And maybe that little fight that they had was manufactured. I don't know, conspiracy theory time? Woo! Anywho, real or not, the fight between them was really entertaining, and the steamy little workroom drama that they boiled up was fun to watch. So thank y'all ladies for that. And in the Rusical, she nailed it. I did think it was interesting to see her bring all those ballet movements into this role though. I maybe was thinking something a little gruffier with that character kind of playing into that gender bending fantasy, and I think she was very feminine in the role, but it still worked. And she did an excellent job of playing up the camp factor of the entire character. Like her big theatrics and body movements and the way she moved her arms and legs when she was talking, especially in the character talk dancing, I guess, were my favorite parts. The same parts. Camden was a 5-star ringleader. This performance was hot. And over on the runway, we've got a queen on the moon. So she's giving us gaseous, reflective planet, a reference to The Little Prince. A cute little story about looking beneath the surface to find the realness beneath. She also was giving me a little bit of Dr. Seuss, Cindy Lou Who with that hair, doing that big giant swoop thing. And for what it's worth, I did enjoy this look a lot on the runway. It was silly and fun, whimsical, certainly was different, but it was missing a little bit of polish and finesse. Like, I know there were a lot of little reflective shards on that jacket, but I think there needed to be even more, and there definitely needed to be more on the legs. I kind of felt like she finished the top half and then just let the pants do their own thing. This gassy little girl did not pass go and did not collect a hot tonight. It's gonna be a rot for me. Next up, shake the dice and do not steal the rice. I feel like they went out of their way to replace the little Santino phrase there, right? Like it just felt a little too referential, but like we're not gonna say it because we don't wanna say it type of thing. Look it up. Angeria's character in the Rusical was charisma. Perfect for Angeria. Literally one of the most charismatic queens of the entire cast already, and in the role, I thought she did a great job. And honestly, I think a lot of how those roles ended up was totally dictated based on the choreography they gave them. Like DeJa walking the pit crew like dogs was really just a choreo choice, and that cool stuff could have been put into these other roles, but really wasn't. But while not all roles were made equal in the Rusical, I think she did an excellent job with what she was given. So this performance gets a very, very nice for me. On the runway, she says she is giving us the shape that all the girls be mad at. All the shapes, all of the little rectangles and octagons and pentagons and what are other shapes? Triangles? Squares? And of all the looks tonight, I think she had one of the most expensive looking and maybe most on theme looks. I definitely got that reflective factor with those blue holographic shapes that were giving that beautiful silhouette to her body. And I thought the crown on her head, girl, let's just say the crown sits well on the hair. And can we look real quick at the length of the dress, how it perfectly hits the floor? So many times on Drag Race, the girls bring these gowns that are just like 1 or 2 inches too short. We don't need to name any names here, but like this is how the gowns should be fitting. This look even kind of reminded me of the lumpy space princess from Adventure Time, except like blue holographic and hard line, not lumpy queen. All of that is to say I loved this look and I thought it was hot. And next up at the tippity top of my list tonight is Daya. In the main challenge, I was shooketh, I am shaking. I'm actively shaking my boots off, mama, yes, God. Help me. Every single time that camera was on her, she was in character. And not just in character, but fully embodying the idea of Moulin Rouge and the music and doing every little movement with her entire body. It was phenomenal what she was doing, truly. I probably watched the Rusical 3 or 4 different times, and every single time she was drawing my eye. In a background role, no less. I understand why she didn't win the challenge. We'll talk more about that here in just a second, but she really, really, really had a great night tonight, and I was impressed. This performance was hot. And over on the runway, we have another choppy mullet from Daya. That is the first thing I noticed on this look, and I'm like, girl, do we not have any other wigs? For as many times as we've seen Bosco in black panties, we have seen Daya in a choppy mullet. The other thing with the mullet here, sorry I have to go on about it again, is that like, I just thought it was too small because the outfits and all the spikes were so huge. She needed a hair that was like 3 feet taller, and that wouldn't have been off-brand for Kiss either. Would have been very appropriate. Enough about the mullets though. The look itself was a great one. It's Kiss inspired. Oh my God, I kind of wondered if the younger kids watching Drag Race even know who Kiss is. But yeah, this look was true to Daya's style and very much applied to the runway theme, mostly. I mean, it was like chrome spikes, but was it really mirror? I also didn't love the cape on this. It's all too short. But overall, this look was hot. I know sometimes I might sound a little critical about challenges or runways, but that is because I am comparing the girls to themselves. Like, I'm not speaking about their challenge performances and runways in a vacuum. I am talking about what they did on the episode, and when we take a step back and look at how phenomenal that Rusical was, it truly was the best Rusical I think the Drag Race franchise has ever put on. The music, the choreography, the characters, the length was good. Like, it was so long, but it was so entertaining. There were ups, there were downs, there was Leslie fucking Jordan. And the fact that Bosco and Jorgeous ended up in the bottom for what they did, I mean, they did great. And, you know, that is, I think, a testament to how good this cast is at this point in the competition. But let's talk real quick about Bosco and Jorgeous being in the bottom. Firstly, Jorgeous just gave us one of the most iconic reads that I think I've ever seen. Definitely in the Hall of Fame of reads. Ru was asking everyone who they thought should be in the bottom. They all said Bosco, and she says Jorgeous and mentions Jorgeous' track record, and then Jorgeous' rebuttal. She says, and if we're gonna talk about track records, then Bosco was in the bottom 3 times in 1 episode last week. I screamed. This is also the bottom 2 that I would have picked just looking at the challenge, but I also think this was just another week that proves runways really truly never matter in this show, because if they did, I think DeJa would have slipped into that bottom placement. And we know the real reason that Rupaul put Jorgeous and Bosco in the bottom is because he wanted to see Bosco and Jorgeous lip sync again. And I did react to that lip sync over on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen. That's my members only website, where my Patreon family gets exclusive member benefits like early access to my YouTube videos, access to exclusive videos, and access to the Bussy Queen Discord server. And you can join by clicking the link in the description of this video. See you there. And my final thoughts on this lip sync are, Bosco had better facial choreography, but Jorgeous had better dancing choreography. And I think Jorgeous's dancing overall was more versatile than what Bosco was showing. She started off a little more unique than she ended, but I don't know, I just kind of feel like we saw a lot of those dance moves in the lip sync smackdown last week, whereas Jorgeous somehow found a way to whip some new shit out. And to Bosco's credit, I want to say that lip sync edit was heavily focused on Jorgeous, so we kind of missed a lot of what Bosco did or didn't do. Blame it on the edit? You're the one that said it. And our winner this week was Lady Camden, which I thought was very appropriate. It would have been hard, I think, to justify the win for Daya, as amazing as she did, because her part was so small, and Lady Camden really did that. Like, not only did she take a role that she didn't necessarily want to do, but she absolutely killed every single part of it, and was the glue for the whole Moulin Ru Rusical. And we finally, this episode, did reach a conclusion to the chocolate bar saga. Bosco did not sashay away because, in fact, she had the gold bar. Was that good? I just love the idea that RuPaul, having executive producer credits on RuPaul's Drag Race, fully knew who was gonna have the gold bar the whole time and absolutely knew that Bosco was gonna unwrap for that episode. And my thoughts on the chocolate bar, I was really excited that Bosco was ultimately the one that got to open the gold bar. But it is pretty crazy that we are, 2 episodes away from the finale and we still have 7 queens? Even the queens themselves are feeling it, and this is what Bosco said at Roscoe's viewing party when she unwrapped the chocolate that they apparently cut.
And they cut this out, but after I opened it, I was kind of cry laughing, and I screamed, "No, this season's never gonna fucking end." And they didn't keep it in, but I kind of wish they had.
But before we go, I do actually have one last little conspiracy theory for you. The runway was mirror mirror, and the chocolate bar they unwrapped was gold and reflective. Think about it. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. Hottest hats. In the challenge, I'm gonna give it to Lady Camden, and on the runway, Angeria Paris VanMichaels. And I also asked my patrons to vote on their hottest hots, and turns out they've also got great taste. Their hottest musical performance was Ladies, and on the runway, they gave it to Angeria. As always, I want to say thanks to you for watching today's video, and of course, I want to say thanks to my generous patrons who make my channel possible, and give a special shout out to Amaya Richwood, who's just joined my Patreon at the hot tier, and Angel Cyrus, Dark-Sided Otter, Dicky, Felicia, Hector Simancas, JB Jeffrey, Joseph Josh Marchant, JP in Dallas, Laura Assett, Mark James, Matthew Burns, Matthew Bauer, Maxie LaWow, Miss F, Neely, Ryan Beats, Sailor, Steven, Tom Jago, Tom Young, Topher, Triton, Willie, and Yeeji, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier. See you later. Love ya. Bye. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. My makeup's really pretty though, for as crazy as I am today. Did y'all hear that DeJa Cat quit music? It's kind of iconic. I quit YouTube.